Happy Saturday, everyone. Hopefully everyone is awesome and motivated. We have a lot of stuff to cover in this video. I'm going to be doing a style of a video that I don't really enjoy, but I'm doing it out of request from a lot of you all. If you ever want me to talk about a certain stock or really just to run some projections based on what the company is really doing, definitely comment below. Not to mention, if you enjoy my content, please smash the like button and subscribe for more, which is all entirely free. And what I don't really like doing on YouTube is giving a year-end price projection. I ended up making a SoFi price projection video a couple weeks ago. Ironically, it's the most viewed video right now on this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is also a little brand new, by the way. I run other YouTube channels, non-stock related. Let me know down below in the comment section if you are from my other YouTube channels, which some of you have already found me on this channel. I have not advertised this channel among my other viewers just yet, looking to grow this very organically. But, yeah, I mean, my SoFi projection video was pretty much clear-cut, straight and dry. The thing about SoFi is they are beautiful because their revenue growth per quarter is just going up and up and up and up and up to the right, okay? If you're looking at me on the screen, maybe that's to your left, but their revenue is gradually going up. Now, a company like AMD, which I am extremely bullish on, which I have tens and tens of thousands of dollars invested into this company, and I see phenomenal money-making opportunities. I'm not an FA. I just share what I do personally. At the end of the day, you got to do your own research and due diligence, and I've done mine. It doesn't matter what stock you get into. You got to be running some type of projections. You can do this with AI. You can use ChatGPT. You can use Google Gemini. I primarily like Google Gemini. The reason is because I'm chiseling away at my MBA right now, my master's, and I get a year's worth of Gemini for free for being in a student status, which is pretty funny. So I'm a little biased when it comes to Chat and also Gemini, but you can literally just make an Excel spreadsheet and just map out projections. How do you map out projections? Well, what is the CEO, or rather the CFO, saying is going to be their guidance for the year? Their growth rates. What is the company doing quarter over quarter? What are they doing year over year? What is their EPS growth? What is their quarterly revenue? What is their EBITDA? What are their margins? Just every single thing. You don't really have to go down to like nitty gritty. You can also just go on a quarter over basis or a year over year. But the reason SoFi is so friggin' easy and beautiful is because everything is just going up to the right. Now, AMD has a lot going on for them. And the reason behind it is because the party for them has not started. The party for SoFi has started, honestly, since they did the flip. They went from negative EPS to positive EPS. Now, of course, AMD is profitable. They are growing. They've been around for a while. At one point, they were honestly looking probably at bankruptcy. But they have so much going for them that it's very hard to put an exact number on them. But I just basically ran some simple projections of what the stock is at right now, what I currently own the stock at, and if we go ahead and just look at a bear, a base, and a bull case projection here, where are we? Hold on, whoopsie daisy, got to exit some stuff off on the screen here. This is just based on what they are currently doing. This can go ahead and change like that. And if it changes with a snap of a fingers, I adjust my price targets and projections. However, you got to remember that black swan events can happen left and right. Right now it is February 28th. The U.S. military and also Israeli military has just launched attacks on Iran. I don't want to put this video too much away from AMD, but I might be making a bonus video tomorrow talking about how to prepare for Monday, because if Monday is going to be red, I'm going to be buying some more stock, baby. And I bought some stock yesterday. Definitely check out my yesterday's video if you want to see what I bought. SoFi definitely was one of the 3 stocks that I ended up buying. But okay, so pretty much on a bear base and bull case, are basically just simple of what they are doing right now. What is AMD doing right now? Obviously, OpenAI has not come through yet, so let's not talk about that. Meta has not even given them like they're still in the talks and everything, and many other companies are going to be coming to AMD. But right now, if you were to run projections, well, if you go ahead and run projections as a bear case, it's $220. So keep the number simple. You take $1,000. Let's say AMD is $199.37 of what they closed on yesterday. Let's say it's $200. So you basically make at the year end 10% profit. Okay, you can argue, hey, 10%. If the SPY goes up by, let's say, 5% this year, you theoretically outperformed the SPY on this stock. Okay, look at the base case. Base case 232, obviously 232, that's above all my averages, my cost basis on my public profile here for this YouTube channel, which I'll get to later on in this video. My private profile has such a lower average because I was buying friggin' AMD shares below $100 during Liberation Day last year. And then we go ahead and look at the bull case of $244. Okay, so I mean, theoretically, just off these numbers, you're looking at maybe a 20% return on a company that's been around for like a while. This is not a new growth company like SoFi, and the reason why Wall Street it's going to be making the switch. Actually, I'll save that momentarily for AMD. But as for retail loves SoFi because the friggin' growth rates are just unbelievable. And when Wall Street stops playing games with SoFi and realizes what a amazing company, you're going to see the party pretty much exploding. Back to AMD now. So these are basically just 3 quick projections here on a chart of what they have been doing to basically scale out the year. Not factoring in OpenAI, not factoring in Meta, not factoring in other companies, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some other deep dives into AMD here as well. Projected revenue growth. So this is basically something that their CEO, Lisa Su, has stated. Their projected revenue growth for this year could very well be 30. I believe she gave a hard number of 30%. And the thing about it is that everybody knows that CEOs sandbags. And Anthony Noto of SoFi did an interview on a retail YouTube channel with 2 retail YouTubers. And he even said it. Every CEO sandbags. That's what they do. Okay? Not bashing on Palantir. I own Palantir. But Alex Karp made a mistake. Alex Karp made a mistake early on with actually not sandbagging, and he got punished for it. Oh yeah, he got punished for it big time. I believe it was actually when Palantir was around the low teens and they just made a big move up. I believe they went from like $8, $9 to like $12, $13. And then the following quarter, Alex Karp didn't come in with like a sandbag situation. Because you got to remember, Alex Karp, Palantir has been around for like a blink of an eye. Same thing as SoFi. AMD has been a very openly long publicly traded company now. Same thing with Nvidia. They've just been on, they haven't been looked at by Wall Street per se. So, if Lisa Su is really sandbagging, which honestly analysts are very much bullish and very much understand she probably is, this 30% growth rate that she's throwing out, it could be very high. It could be maybe 35. It could maybe even be 40. Imagine if it was 40. Okay? With all these new deals coming in, imagine if it really is much higher. So that's something to take in consideration too. Okay? Next over here, we basically pretty much have an interesting area that I love to really throw out there. I'm not the only one talking about this. A lot of other people on YouTube are talking about this. A lot of, actually, no one really on Wall Street is talking about this. It's primarily the retail, the retail YouTubers and also the retail shareholders are talking about this. So there is a growing consensus that it could be this year or it could be next year, but it's going to end up happening. I'm not bashing on Nvidia. Every single time that I say this, people get like misinterpreted of what I'm saying. Hold on, water, cheers. People think that I'm saying Nvidia is a bad company. No, Nvidia is the richest, most valuable company in the friggin' world for a reason. But here's the problem. Nvidia has had its party, okay? Just like how SoFi is going to have its party. Just like how Tesla had its party. Just like how Amazon had its party at one point. Doesn't mean Amazon's not a great company. They're a massive growing giant. But you're not going to see this big swoop up like with Tesla, okay? Before all the stock splits happened with Tesla, imagine if you bought into Tesla back in 2019, 2018. Like well over 1,000% if you sold in like early 2021, I believe, or even at the end of 21. Like you're talking well over 1,000%, maybe even greater, maybe 2,000% gains. There's going to be a time period where AMD's growth rates are going to be higher than Nvidia. It doesn't mean AMD is going to surpass Nvidia. That's we don't need, as an AMD shareholder, I don't give a friggin' hoo-ha if AMD surpasses Nvidia. People don't get it. Okay, AMD right now has a market cap of around 300 bill. If AMD goes to a $1 trillion company, which is not hard to do in the next like couple years, I make a lot of money. A lot of money. So do a lot of other people. Like Nvidia, if hypothetically AMD were to surpass Nvidia, something would be happening to Nvidia, okay? And I honestly don't see that happening. Nvidia is, with the numbers that Nvidia just put up, it's amazing. But AMD is going to eat into Nvidia's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And picture Nvidia has not had anyone tapping into their market share. Well, now AMD is going to. And it doesn't mean that they're going to take over Nvidia. It would be a legendary story if Nvidia did, and I would be making a lot of money if that happened. Do I believe it's going to happen? No. Do I believe that AMD in the next couple years could very well be a $1.5 trillion company? Absolutely. Could AMD be a $1 trillion company? Absolutely. Could it be maybe a little bit lower than a $1 trillion? Absolutely. Am I going to be making money on AMD over the next couple years? Absolutely. How much? That is the question. Now, as for their growth rates, this is something that I did ask Gemini, and I do have Gemini Pro, like I said, and the answer I got is something utterly remarkable. Now, I do understand that a lot of people don't like AI, but here's the thing. I use AI how it should be used, which is to gather information, and I myself make calculated decisions. I'm not letting AI make decisions for me. Okay, there are people out there that actually do that stupid shit. That's not what AI is supposed to do. It's supposed to gather information for you and make it easier for you to make a well-rounded decision. Now look at this. I asked Google Gemini, do you believe that AMD can surpass Nvidia's growth rates in 2026? And I got a crazy answer. Yes, I absolutely believe AMD's quarter-over-quarter growth rates could surpass Nvidia's in the second half of 2026. What is happening in the second half of this year? Deals, Meta, OpenAI, probably more companies, and the unveiling of their new chips. A couple years ago, AMD said that we are a few years behind Nvidia. Wall Street bought in to Nvidia. And Nvidia soared, AMD was left holding their wieners. Or maybe vaginas. We got a female CEO, so gotta take that into, context. I have a lot of crude humor. I did many years in the United States Marine Corps. I'm a grunt, so please bear with me here. Try to keep it as PG-13 as possible, but sometimes I just can't help it. You can still say pussy in a PG-13 movie, right? Pretty sure you can. Okay, so anyways, 2026, in fact, if Meta and OpenAI deals execute as planned, it is mathematically highly probable. Woohoo! Money! Oh, yes! Oh, it's gonna be good. Oh, yeah. To understand why, we have to take a look at the market mechanics, something that could glaringly obvious when you were calculating volatility, oh boy, and mapping out option chains for these kinds of high growth tech plays. It all comes down to the law of large numbers. Can't talk this Saturday. Nvidia has become so massive that sustaining huge growth rates quarter over quarter becomes incredibly difficult. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean Nvidia is a bad company. It doesn't mean Nvidia is going to die. It just means that it's going to become hard. Why is Palantir having a hard time? Because Palantir's growth rates are so crazy. People are like, how long can they sustain it? Very different company than Palantir and of course, Nvidia. Right now, Nvidia is guiding for roughly $78 billion, which is massive. 50%. Let's go ahead and wrap this up very quickly. The second half, Meta, their chips, OpenAI, I think we already talked here. So yeah, it is very possible AMD balance sheet in Q3, Q4 could definitely spike dramatically. If not in the second half of this year, definitely in 2027. So, to really wrap up this video here, how does this affect my price target and every single thing about AMD? AMD is going to be this stock this year where my price projection is going to be changing constantly. The $240 bull case, honestly, that could very well be a bear case for this year, okay? A bull case for AMD, honestly, could very well be like doing maybe a bull case could be a double up. You're talking about maybe $400 of AMD. Is that possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Could a base case be 300? A bear case be 250, 260? There are so many different possibilities, okay? What am I doing personally? Well, on this YouTube channel, I am doing a public account challenge. If you've been following me along, you know about my challenge. Looking to take this sum of money here to 6 figures in the course of 17 months. If I deposit a large sum of money, obviously it's going to change. It's going to go down to 16 months, 15 months, and then the lowest is going to be 12. The account challenge has started January 2nd of this year, so we are amidst the account challenge. AMD is my biggest position on this profile. On my private account, SoFi is my largest position. AMD is my second largest, ironically. I am okay with AMD being my largest position on this account because I want to really show the opportunity, just like how there was such a friggin' opportunity for Nvidia back in 2022 when the freaking Pelosi crime family bought into it, and I turned my head. Yeah, that's right, the Pelosi crime family bought into Nvidia. Who would have ever guessed that NVIDIA was going to go on a tear of 1,000, 1,500, maybe even 2,000% if you actually did get in with the Pelosi's? I don't know what percent the Pelosi's got in. Had to be well over 10x on her money, right? Oh yeah, we had no clue NVIDIA was gonna do what they did. Oh yeah, we had no clue, right? Oh man, politicians are friggin' more corrupt than some very hot and warm water. So on a closing note, I actually did I buy a NVIDIA? Hold on one second. Yes, I actually did buy an AMD share on Friday. Yes, I did buy an AMD share, on, actually, no, not Friday. It was, when was it? Thursday. Thursday, I bought an AMD share. So, I have a massive position in here on AMD. What is my honest cutoff? Well, I mean, you can literally look at my entire profile and say, okay, 34,000 and some change here. Obviously, my position on here on Webull says 25.52%. But understand that hypothetically, if SoFi were to nosedive, the AMD position obviously goes up because the account value goes down per se, right? But I'm not even really thinking more so about it. And yes, the rule of investing, also trading, is never more than potentially 10 or 15% in one position. However, there are opportunities where you go ahead and tighten your belt buckle. Okay, you tighten your belt buckle and you say to yourself, hey, I'm willing to take this risk. Are you willing to take a risk of having a 25.52% of your position in one stock, AMD? I am. Are you willing to push that to 30% and buy more AMD shares? I am. 30%, honestly, is really like a hard cutoff. And with Webull, I believe it is 33,005 something. So I have uninvested capital of 1,300. Let me just double check this really quick with the calculator here. I'm almost positive it is 9,057 divided by 34, 897. Yes. So actually it's a little greater. I believe Webull goes off your total market value. I got to double check on that. But anyways, regardless, if AMD is going to be dangling below $200 after announcing Meta, after announcing OpenAI, which I do believe OpenAI is going to come through on AMD deal, it is utter just shenanigans. And I'm going to have no choice but to really buy more AMD shares. So there might be a time in the next maybe couple weeks or couple months where, if you're following me, I might be buying more AMD shares, because it is ridiculous with the amount of stuff that this company has coming for them, that Wall Street, or rather the market, is just really dangling AMD at such a lower number. But then again, I could be dead wrong here, and that's why you always got to do your due diligence. I could be dead wrong on SoFi. Maybe they just honestly get a bank evaluation. Maybe the hybrid evaluation for SoFi is trash. Maybe they don't get to all-time highs for the next, like, maybe year or so. Maybe Wall Street doesn't want to get into AMD. Maybe NVIDIA does something incredible and they stomp AMD to the ground. Anything's a possibility. That's why when it comes to investing, it's a lot different than obviously having options. On a super closing note here, I have done options before, and I have been asked by people, hey, will you be buying some options? Right now, the market is way too friggin' volatile. Yes, I could look at some leap options as well, but honestly, I would much rather just buy shares of great companies that I trust. I trust their management team, rather than just maybe having a black swan event and getting kicked in the groin. That's not gonna feel good, right? Okay, so wrap up this video. If you enjoyed today's episode about AMD, drop a comment below. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow with a bonus video. Right now, it looks like there is going to be some volatility because of Iran. How do I know that? Because Bitcoin is down by 1%, give or take. It actually was down by 1.5% before I was recording this video. If Bitcoin is going to be down tomorrow, that means the market is going to have some hibbity-jibbities. So maybe I'll make a new video tomorrow, but definitely on Monday. Take it easy, everyone. Much love. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. Continue sticking to your strategy, and I'll see you later. Bye.